What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here today to talk about The Housewives of Miami, Season 5, Episode 6, Dumped and Dumbfounded. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's jump right on into it. So Lisa's telling the girls about what happened with her and Lenny, and the ladies are just reacting. There's like, oh my god, because it's like, Lisa reiterates that, like, the Good Vibes party was like 10 days ago. Just 2 days later, she says that Lenny was acting all weird, and he flat out told her he wanted to get a divorce. And a couple days after that, he said he was going to begin dating, and now he's, like, officially with this new bitch. Nicole, she's telling her, look, don't leave the marital home. She's trying to give advice, and she says in the confessional, like, I'm not a lawyer by proxy, but, from what I know, I just think it'd be a good idea for her to not, like, don't give up your house, girl. That's what she's basically saying. Lisa says that Lenny's new girlfriend follows her on Instagram, and Alexia is pissed. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? These bitches are gonna follow us on Instagram, and they, the whole time trying to get with our men. They want our fucking lives, blah, blah, blah. And she's looking at her photos, talking shit. She's like, oh, like, she's a fucking hoe. Larsa's right behind her, and she's like, she looks like a man. And I was like, hold up, Larsa, be careful, girl. I was like, girl, reel it back. Alexia, she says, look, I better not see Lenny. Like, Alexia is really upset. She's like, I better not see Lenny. If some bitch up to me and Todd, I'd fucking pull her hair. Like, Alexia's really pissed. And amid all this chaos, Julia and Adriana, they're like eating their food, like across, like, cause it's like, there's a little like bar area, and it's like the pool. That's like the sitting area. And so they're talking about that, all this stuff with Lenny and Lisa, all this commotion. Adriana and Lisa are just oblivious, essentially. And Lisa says that she actually called and confronted the girl. And she was like, hey, like, what's going on with you and Lenny? And the girl was like, she was denying it. She was like, oh, where'd you hear that from? And Lisa said, oh, well, my husband just told me. And the bitch was like, oh, go talk about it with him. Like that's not my problem. And on the one hand, I get it. It's like, well, girl, why are you calling me for? It's like, handle this with your husband. But it's like, bitch, like, oh my god. And Nicole, she tells Lisa, look, start calling lawyers, start getting people a retainer, start getting your shit ready, and start getting ready for fucking battle. But Lisa, she sadly says she just wants Lenny to love her. She's like, she's not ready to, like, it's not sinking in yet. So yeah, she knows that she has to, like, get all these lawyers, like, fucking prepped to fucking go through all this divorce bullshit, but she's like, I just want things to be okay. And it just can't happen. She feels blindsided, hurt, uncared for. She never thought that Lenny would do this to her. They've been together for like 15 years. He was family to her. Because remember, Lisa isn't very close with her like own family, so she's like really leaned on Lenny. Like, I almost sound like Larsa, but it's like, because that was her family, that she, like, built, and now it's gone, and so Lisa's just really having a hard time with it. In the confessional, she says that Lenny told her, oh, you have to find a place for your new kids to go live, and if you don't, you're gonna have a front row, first-class ticket to watching me dating. And just being really cold and cruel, and, yeah, Lisa says she was just really caught off guard, although we as viewers know that there were signs from all those sexy parties to him all of a sudden wanting to work out and take care of himself and shit after she had been asking for years to do it, but now all of a sudden he's on it. Just like some midlife crisis bullshit. Last season she kind of brought up how he had an emotional affair on her. I believe that went down before they had their kids. But anyways, Lisa continues talking. Then Adriana and Julia join the group, and Adriana's dumbass is like, Lisa, what happened? What did we miss? What happened? And it's like, bitch. It's because, like, Adriana and Julia knew something was going on, but they chose not to go. And it's like, don't willfully ignore some bullshit and then float on up like a fucking stupid-ass hot air balloon. Be like, what happened? What's going on? What happened? It's like, bitch. Like, that's my pet peeve. I hate having to, like, repeat shit. Oh, it's like, oh my... And it's like... Sometimes it's natural, like if someone just walks up organically, but it's like, we know that Adriana, like, it just annoyed me, because she's like, what happened? What happened, Lisa? Don't tell me you and Lenny are getting a divorce. It's just like, it was so bad, to be honest. I was like, Adriana, you are so stupid. I was like, oh my goodness. Meanwhile, Alexia and Gertie are talking like mad shit about Lenny. Gertie tells Lisa, oh, you have to focus on your family, and that's you and your kids. You have to pave your own way and do your own thing. And she's like, Lisa Lane, thank you. Do your own thing, focus on the highway, go through the tunnel by yourself. You know how Gertie is. Gertie's very, like, expressive. She's like, giving all this advice and shit, making all these metaphors. Like, just gotta do your own thing, go through the tunnel alone with your kids. And, Laurie says, like, well, when you spend, like, all these years, building a marriage and, a family with your kids, like, you're proud of that and you don't want to throw it away. And in the confessional, Laurie says, like, Gertie, like, zip it, please. Like, because she feels like in this moment, the other women who've gone through divorces can help her. Like, Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, Adriana, even Nicole has had a divorce. Nicole is married to someone, it came out, like, last season. She was married to, like, a school teacher. They didn't have any kids or anything. They divorced. She got with this guy. So, like, damn near everyone's been divorced. I don't think Julia's been married before Martina. I don't know about Kiki. Yeah, but Gertie has not been divorced. Gertie's been with Russell since they were, like, in high school. So, Lois is just like, girl, like, miss stable-ass fucking 2-decade-ass marriage. Like, come on, like, chill out. Let us, who have been divorced and gone through this a very exact same emotion, let us give our advice. So, I kind of get what Larsa's saying. Because, yeah, it's like, I get it, but it's like sometimes that whole, like, empowerment shit is just too, it's like, girl, like, let me just grieve this for a bit. You know what I mean? Like, Gertie was almost like, okay, let's go, let's jump in, which is like, it makes sense. She was like, okay, girl, like, stay focused, don't lose sight of it. But it's like, you have to let her, like, grieve this. It's the death of this marriage. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's like a lot's going on right now, And just like, I really get what Larsa's saying, to be honest with you. But anyways, the ladies then leave the little pool area, go up to their respective rooms. Adriana's telling Julia that, Lisa met Lenny when she was in her early 20s, living in Las Vegas as a cocktail waitress. He was older, plastic surgeon in Miami. Like, kind of seeing the power dynamic between the pair, I guess. And she says that ultimately, Lenny became Lisa's whole world. And so Lisa's getting the rug swept up from under her feet. Just a big change for her. We also see Gertie and Nicole. They're calling their husbands to kind of fill them in, give them the tea and shit. Gertie, she's like, is this shithead on crack cocaine or is he insane? Like, would you ever do that to me? Like, she's talking to Russell about it. And he's like, no. Because Russell's really like, okay, because we saw some scenes between Lenny and Lisa. And Lenny was kind of like aloof and like kind of just out of it. But Lenny's not naturally like that. So it was like a red flag. Gertie's husband, she's admitted he's very like a man of few words. He's kind of just does his own thing, very quiet, which works out for their relationship because Gertie says that she's like, I like to talk, I like to express myself. He likes to listen, become more silent, so it works out perfectly. So he was kind of a bit more on the silent side too, but that's his personality. You get me? It's like context is everything, something I noticed personally. When Nicole was talking to Anthony, he's saying that, Lenny's an asshole. He's like, what kind of dick fucking does that? Like, oh, you have to take the kids and go? Like, what kind of asshole? Like, he's going in on him. He says that, Lisa needs a lawyer, like, ASAP. And he also says that, yeah, Lisa shouldn't leave the marital home. Like, she shouldn't willingly move out, is what he's saying. But he also says, he cannot legally kick her out. Like, Lenny cannot kick Lisa out of the home. Like, so he's doing his lawyering, you know what I mean? So he's kind of giving some good advice. And the ladies obviously have to get ready and shit. Lisa, she gets a call from Lenny's mom, Marina. And she was like, oh, so the plan was for Marina to go and just kind of stay at the house for a bit. Kind of provide some stability, be there for the kids. Just kind of like, a lot's going on. Let me just be there and stay at the house. You know what I mean? To help out. Lenny ultimately told Marina to leave. He told his mother to leave and to not come back unannounced to the house again. And Marina then realized that the driver was gone. Like, the big old SUV was gone, so the driver had left to go pick someone up. And Marina was, like, parked outside the gate, probably just, like, in disbelief, talking shit about Lenny. And then she saw that the driver pulled up with a woman in the back seat. So Marina told Lisa, hey, I think my son Lenny is bringing some other girl in the house while the kids are inside. And Lisa's freaking out. Lenny calls her a little bit afterwards. I don't know if Lisa was blowing up his phone, sending him all kinds of texts. I don't know. He calls her back, and it seems like he's denying the allegations. He's like, I don't have anyone over. What do you mean? Because he's not on speakerphone, but Lisa's like, really? Like, she's like pissed. And she's like, really? And she says, I'm going to have someone go over and make sure that bitch is at my fucking house. Like, she's mad. Like, Lisa's pissed. And yeah, she says, you know, it's going to be a huge problem if he brings that girl anywhere near her kids. And she's just really going off on him. And she's like, I'm going to call lawyers right now. Like, she doesn't tell him that. I think she told Marina that. But yeah, it's just this big old deal. And then right afterwards, everyone links up to go to this little beach dinner for, it's for Alexia's birthday. I believe that's the day of her actual birthday, I believe. It's either that day or the next day. Because it's like Alexia's birthday trip, kind of. I don't know when her exact birthday is. I think she's a Taurus, I believe. Hey Siri, when is Alexia Echevarria's birthday? Don't make fun of how Echevarria. She's 55. She's a Taurus. May 3rd. Okay. So yeah, it's like Alexia's birthday weekend kind of deal. There are these girls and these like, you know those like plastic bubble kind of things? There are these women, like these dancers in these plastic bubbles on the beach. And they're like kind of contortionists as well, like doing these all these little tricks and shit. I couldn't stop thinking, I was like, they're probably miserable in that bubble. Because there's one time in San Diego when I was fucking, it was with my dad. It was my dad, me, and my brother, one of my brothers. We were a bit younger. And there was like this thing, it was like this pool. And you could like pay to get in this like plastic bubble and just kind of like roll around. It was kind of like a hamster and like a wheel kind of deal, but like in water. So we did that, and my dad, like, paid the guy extra so he could keep us in longer. So we'd be like, oh, have fun. Bitch, I was miserable. I was sweating like fucking crazy. Like, if I would have had a phone, I would probably called my dad, but like, get me the fuck out of here. But I didn't have a phone at the time. I was, like, really young. So it was like, oh, my God. It was so fucking hot. And these bitches are wearing, like, these colorful wigs. I mean, like, because they're, like, performers. I was like, oh my goodness, it's probably miserable to be honest. Gertie, she's like, clap twice if you need help. Lisa's there at the table. She's like trying to have fun, but she says that like, she's in her own world. She just can't, she's out of it. Understandably so. I'd be the exact same way. It's like, you just can't like, you know what I mean? It's just, she's just out of it and can't deal with it. And it's just like all the talking around it just sounds like white noise almost. And Larsa winds up like talking about dating or something like that. And Lisa winds up like getting up from the table and going to like talk on the phone. She just kind of excuses herself. And the camera follows her and Lisa breaks the fourth wall. She's like, no, don't follow me. I just need a moment. Like she tells them like back off for a little bit. And back at the table, Alexia's friend Johnny, who was featured a bit last season as that gay Cuban guy, he rolls up, kind of surprises her, and he brings a surprise from Todd. It's like this video message, and it's also this like really cool watch and bracelet set. Shows like $50,000, and I guess some of the other ladies have that same set as well. And Alexia's like, oh, we can all match, blah blah. And Adriana, who has the same set, in her confessional, she's like, the difference is I bought mine. And it's like, okay, girl. And there are a lot of people who are like, Adriana is such a fucking hater. She's so jealous, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really mind it, though, because Alexia was a big old bitch in this episode. And so I was here for any shot that came Alexia's way, I was here for. So I was like, hey, I'm here for it. Like, say what you want to say, Adriana. We can see Lisa. She calls her nanny. And I guess Lenny instructed the nanny to sleep in the guest house, like in not in the main home, like in the back house or whatever. He instructed her to stay there for the night. And Lisa, she's like, her spidey senses are going off. She's like, no, I need you to go in the house and check on the kids. But the nanny's like, oh, like the nanny's put in a really weird predicament. She's like, I'm here with Lenny. He told me to stay in the back house. The nanny probably knows something's going on. Then Lisa's telling her, no, go in the house, check on the kids. So she's like caught in between her employers almost. And it's like, oh my gosh, probably Really weird. Marisol then goes check on Lisa, and she's on the phone with her mother-in-law at this point, and Lisa says she just thinks that the girl's in her house, and she doesn't know what to do, and he isn't letting the nanny in, he's not letting his mom in, the kids are asleep, and Marisol says that Lisa needs to take control of the situation. She says she needs to make sure she's able to get back into her home when she gets back, and Lisa, she walks away on the phone with Marina, just kind of talking about what's going on. They're both like, what the fuck is going on with Lenny? Like, what is going on with him? And Lisa breaks the fourth wall again. She tells the camera, like, stop following me. Like, there's nothing to do. It's off limits. Like, Lisa was not having it. And to be honest with you, I was like, okay, she's given us a lot. Like, yes, the bitch is on reality TV. Yes, she's opening her life up. She has her. We know what's going on. Let's let her talk to her mother-in-law on the phone. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. I'm not gonna bitch and moan, like, she's not having the phone call on speaker. It's like, girl, we already know what's up, you know? We don't need to know everything. Like, let's calm down. Marisol then returns to the table and kind of tells the ladies what's up with Lisa. Alexia's like, that girl's in her house? We have to call 911. We have to call 911. It was really funny. Like, Alexia was really funny, like, the first half. But in the second half, she was just all downhill on some, like, where was Alexia on January 6th type shit. But, yeah, ladies are all reading Lenny down the confessional, talking shit, saying how disappointed they are. Kiki, she says, you know, I always knew something was up with him because of the shape of his head. Like, there's some guys, they have a weird shape of their head. You can just tell they're up to no good. It's really funny. Julia then tries to kind of change the vibe up, and she asks Marisol to come up with a fun game from the all play, which gives Nicole PTSD, because last season they were up in the Hamptons. Marisol came up with a game. It was like, oh, who do we trust the least? I'll go first. I think I trust Nicole. And it caused all this drama. So Nicole's like, oh my God, what's the game gonna be? It's this fun little game at first. It's like, it's like these little cards, and has like a little prompt on it, and it's like, who here would be the drug dealer who gets high on their own supply? And the group has to vote who that card applies to. It's like a fun little game like that. Marisol was like, oh, I would get high on my own supply, like, which we all know and agree with. The other question is like, oh, who would be the dirty cop? Like, just questions like that. And then Julia gets a card, and it's like, if we were all prostitutes, who would make the least amount of money? And Julia's like, oh, it'd be me. Like, I wouldn't be able to make money probably. And Alexia is like, I think you'd be a good prostitute. Like, you know how to be a prostitute? You're Russian. And everyone's like, and Nicole, while kind of like laughing, they're like, oh my God. She's like, Alexia's gonna get canceled. And Alexia's like, I don't care. I have every right to say whatever I want. It's like that whole bullshit, like, I don't care. I'm gonna say what I want. I'm gonna say what I want. And the thing is, it's like, she could have just been like, oh, Julia, you're so flirt. Because Julia is a flirt. Julia is flirty. She admitted it last season. She could have easily been like, oh, Julia, you're so flirty. Like, come on, I'm sure you'd be a good, like, you know, companion. Like, but no, she was like, you're Russian. You know how to sell pussy. You know, it was just like, girl, what the fuck? It was just so weird, and it was like, totally didn't have to be that way. And like, she was doubling down, like, I could say whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. Just being this fucking a Karina, this Karen, this just is so stupid. Julia's uncomfortable, but the game continues, and then you get a question about like who in the group has the lowest standard, something like that. Who has the lowest standards? And Julia chimes in. She's like, well, Alexia has low standards of Russian women because she thinks that we're all prostitutes. Like, Julia she was quick with that shit, to be honest. And Alexia's like, I was actually giving you a compliment. And it was like, girl, what? Like, it was just so stupid. Marisol's drunk fucking lipstick on her teeth ass. She's like, I think like we're a melting pot of cultures in Miami. And some people have to do what they have to do to survive. And there's a stereotype that Russian women have to do that sometimes. Like, trying to provide context. I don't think she was calling her a prostitute. I think she's just giving, like, it's like, Marisol, like, I don't even want to see Alexia and Marisol Ultimate Girls Trip. I also don't want to see Whitney and Heather. Like, I'm excited for Ultimate Girls Trip 3, but, like, with some of the dynamic shit, it's like, I don't want to see Whitney and Heather hashing out this fucking same drama from the season. I don't want to see Marisol rush to Alexia's defense. See Alexia be a dumbass fucking bitch the whole time. Oh, I'm the Cuban Barbie. This fucking stupid, like, ignorant fool. And it's just like, girl, what? And it's just so idiotic. Alexia then apologizes, and she's like, oh, I'm just mad at Lenny because, you know, he's half Russian. And it's like, yeah, it's this thing against your nationality or culture, but, you know, it doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with kind of mad at this other person. It's just really stupid. I was really disappointed in Alexia, to be honest with you. I was like, girl, what the fuck? And it was, like, so dumb. And in her confessional, Julia explains why, like, she takes offense to that. She says, you know, back when she was living in Paris, London, in Miami, like, she's heard of this stereotype. And at one point, she was kind of, like, just had to take it. But she's like, no. She says, I'm a grown-ass woman now, and I don't have to be... I'm not going to be silenced by intimidation. I'm not going to be, you know, quiet on this matter anymore. So, good on Julia, to be honest. And the party goes on, everything gets resolved, and it's like they have a good time with the rest of the night. They have a little piñata and shit. But yeah, and then so the next day, we see Marisol. She's fucking making a drink at 9 a.m. And I get it. You're on vacation, have a mimosa with breakfast, whatever. But it's like, I don't think this is just vacation activities for Marisol, if you know what I mean. We also find out that everyone's at just like this Cuban restaurant, and they're gonna learn how to like make mojitos and like roll cigars and shit like that. It's a little thing. However, Lisa decided that'd be best for her to just head back home. She's like, look, there's so much shit going on. I can't enjoy myself. I have to get back home. Because she's like 120 miles away. She's like, I have to get back. So yeah, she does that, and she's getting support from Larsa, Alexia, and Marisol, some of the women who've been divorced. And she says that it feels like a death, as I mentioned earlier, except Lenny's still here, and he's like actively and consciously causing her to be hurt. So yeah, she's like kind of dealing with that. She heads off, and everyone else, they board the Sprinter van, and they're kind of just talking about how sorry they are for Lisa, talking about the situation. And Larsa says that, like, you know, yeah, like, we're all trying to be there for her. Then she also calls out Gertie. She says, you know, yesterday, Gertie, you were trying to give her some advice and stuff, but I feel like we as divorced women can give her, like, we know things that you don't, and we can help her in a different way. And in turn, Gertie, she's like, all right, yeah, I'm not divorced yet. And I was like, girl, yet? That was a little Freudian slip. It was like, yeah, she's like, I'm not divorced yet, but I've been married for a very long time, and I feel like I could provide a different perspective. Like, there's the perspective from fellow divorced women, perspective from people who've been, you know, married for a long time. Like, she just needs support and needs kind of guidance. And so Gertie says, I'm going to share my opinion, and no one's going to stop me. And so I get what Gertie's saying. She's like, look, I'm trying to be there for my friend. I'm trying to be supportive. But I have to agree with Larsa on this one. You know, it's like, you can be supportive, you can be there for your friend, you can even give advice while acknowledging that there's some other people who may be able to kind of give more insight, kind of be able to give more first-hand experience. You get what I'm saying? I think Gertie could have been there, but in a different way. You know, I think Larsa felt Gertie was trying to, like, command the conversation, being like, oh, just do your own thing, Lisa, kind of focus on you and the kids. Pave your own way, do your own thing, go through the tunnel alone. But Larsa's like, girl, like, she needs someone to just cry with right now. She needs someone to, like, I feel like the most advice Lisa should have gotten at this point was like, girl, get a lawyer. Like, lawyer up and see what's good. You know what I mean? Because that's really it. It's like, yeah, grieve this loss, but lawyer up, bitch, you know? And yeah, and then they roll up to this little restaurant. It's like, it rendered almost like a little taco stand. It's like a Cuban food stand. So it's like, it's not more than tacos and shit, but it's like this little order window, and you can have sit outside in a side area. Julia, she sees these chickens like roaming around, and she's like, oh, my friends, they followed me. So it's kind of really cute. And yeah, the ladies kind of get their food and shit, and they go back on the Sprinter van. Strangely, though, it's kind of like, basically, Alexia and Julia are the only ones left off of the Sprinter van. Like, everyone else is sitting on there, and Alexia and Julia are kind of, like, wrapping up, getting their food. Alexia is all being lovey with Julia, like, oh, Julia. And she apologizes and says she loves her and doesn't want her to feel uncomfortable. And it's like, so I don't know. And it's like, I get it, but it's like, you can make joke like, oh, you fucking hoe, you hooker, like, you bitch. You can do those things, but it's like, when it comes into like, you know how to be a good prostitute, you're fucking Russian. Or like, you know how to do this. It's like, it becomes a bit different, you know what I mean? Because again, she could have been like, Julia, you'd be a good prostitute girl. You're so flirty. You'd have all the men just want, like, you're the repeat people coming back to, like, just have you talk with them, make them feel good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she have totally flipped it and focused it on Julia's personality. Because Julia is a flirt. Now, Julia may not be the most, like, you know, she doesn't, I think what Julia was saying was, like, she doesn't dress as provocatively. She isn't, like, as, like, with the sexiness, I guess, as some of the other ladies, you know? But she is flirtatious with her conversation. You know what I mean? She's in that kind of way. So she could have worded it that way, but she didn't. Alexia put her big old fucking foot in her mouth, and it's like she fucked up. But she isn't really admitting it. And in fact, Alexia is doubling down on this shit. She's like, oh, I don't even know why I said that. Then she says, oh, you know, I just said it because I'm just really mad at Lenny, who's half Russian. It has nothing to do with your nationality. And so, well, girl, like, if you're mad at Lenny, talk shit about Lenny, you know? But she was directing a comment at Julia. It was slut-shamey and offensive to her, and it really played into this negative stereotype that Julia has firsthand experience with. But yeah, and Julia says that Alexia took it too far, and Alexia's like, well, all I can do is say I'm sorry. All I can do is say I'm sorry. And just, that's the most half-assed thing. It's like, girl, just say you're sorry, you hear Julia, and, you know, it was a moment of ignorance, you know what I mean? It's like, just own your shit. She's like, oh, I can say I'm sorry. If you don't accept my apologies, nothing I can do. If you don't accept my apologies, nothing, like, trying to flip it on her almost. And Julia explains, you know, when she was living in Paris and London, people would ask her where she's from. They would learn she's from Russia, and they'd be like, oh, this prostitute, this Russian, what do they call it, the mail order bride, that kind of thing. So she was like, she was affected by it. And in the van, the ladies are all watching, because Alexia and Julia kept talking with their hands at this point, and Leah's like, oh, what's going down, what's going down? And Marisol's rat ass, she's fucking like, she was defending Alexia, saying like, well, she didn't call Julia a hooker. And Nicole and Liza are like, no, she called all the women in her home country hookers. And Marisol's like, oh, what, really? She's like, that's why I like drinking, I forget. I'm like, yeah, Marisol, shut your drunk ass the fuck up. And it's like, she's trying to defend her friend, all this shit. It's like, Marisol, like, get your lipstick off your teeth first, bitch. And it's like, stop, it's just like so stupid. It's like, it really pissed me the fuck off. It's just this stupid bullshit. This dumb bitch fighting this other dumb bitch. Alexia says that it was just, she's pointing out the reputation that Russian women have. And Julia says, there's no reputation, it's an assumption. And they have going back and forth with that. Julia says it was demeaning to all women. Many women don't go into prostitution by choice. You know, it's kind of calling her out on that. And Julia also says that Alexia, you know, with her brand new watch and bracelet, shipping her champagne on the beach at her birthday dinner, it's, you know, she's putting down women for profiting off their bodies, you know, for getting by and surviving through prostitution, while she lived off of drug money. And I was like, oh! I was like, and Alexia, she was like, actually, I don't live off of drug money. My ex-husband lost all of his money throughout. He got all taken away. And my money comes through my dead gay dad. You know, that's where my money comes from. He passed away. And Alexia accuses Julia of trying to call her out because she's mad at her, trying to bring up her past right in her face. Alexia is all defensive, and it's just like so stupid, to be honest. And Julia gagged her with that, to be honest. And yeah, Julia says she does not accept Alexia's apology, and Alexia says, oh, well, I own my shit. I say the same thing whether I'm drunk or I'm sober. And and that makes me different than the rest of you guys. You guys are a bunch of fucking lies. She's on her, like, Donald Trump, I say what's on everyone's mind, but no one has the balls to say, like, that whole narrative. And it's like, girl, like, you're the only one thinking that. Like, you're the only, like, no one, I don't know. It's just so like whack. And it's just like, again, it's like, where was Alexia on January 6th? Like, and then Alexia, like a weak ass bitch, she shuts the conversation down. She's like, it's my birthday. I don't want to deal with this. Let's go back on the fucking butt. And it's just like, girl, like, you're so fucking pathetic. It's like, yeah, bitch, you may have an accent. You may be Cuban, but you're a fucking Karen just as much as any other bitch. You're still pathetic. It's just like, girl, and it's just so stupid. On the Sprinter van, Larsa asks if they're all good, and Alexia says, I'm really sorry, but, you know, there are documentaries on Russian women coming to this country to have babies with American men so their kids have benefits. And it's like, you can say the same shit about, it's like, oh, I've seen documentaries about Cubans fucking jumping on these fucking rafts and coming to fucking do, it's like, girl, like, what are you fucking saying? I guarantee you, if people call Alexia out for being ignorant, she's gonna pull like, I'm Cuban. My parents, they get like, I can't, it's like, girl, like, shut the fuck up. She's one of those Cubans who live down in Florida and fucking like, are all fucking Republic. She's like the Texas Mexicans, the fucking Cuban, the Florida Cubans, you know, just like, they feed into this fucking negative anti-immigrant, these fucking, like, it's so stupid, like, to be honest with you. And I'm saying this as a California-based Mexican. I'm kind of, like, side-eyeing some of that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, girl, like, not to get too political with this shit, but it's just, like, it is, like, disappointing me. I'm saying that it kind of, that's why it kind of went deeper with me with this shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, and Adriana, because, you know, Julia's her fucking girl, so she chimes in, and she brings up that, well, if you're going to talk about Netflix documentaries, you were on a documentary for Cocaine Cowboys. So, like, what if someone judged you off of that? Like, you're talking about cocaine. It's like, yeah, this fucking Cuban bitch, fucking this drug queen. It's like, girl, what? And she thinks that Alexia's being hypocritical. Adriana then asks if prostitution is more shameful than drug dealing. And Alexia is like, you know what's more shameful? Women who go out with married men. That's what Alexia says, trying to throw a dig at Adriana, because according to Marisol and Alexia, who fucking knows if they're fucking accurate. Because the thing is, it's like Marisol's like, I know all the tea. I'm like, bitch, you're drunk half the time. What do I'm not giving much credit to this, to be honest. Like, according to them, Adriana's boyfriend is legally married. But Adriana just found out, like, literally, like, a week ago. And she says that, like, he just lost his mother. Like, he just had to, like, bury his mom. So she's, like, she's not trying to address this. She's not going to confront him if he's married or not. So it's kind of, she's in this little weird limbo space. So according to Alexia and Marisol, Adriana's man's married. But Adriana's like, I don't know if he's married yet. I don't think he's married. I haven't been able to, like, ask him because it's not the time yet. So Alexia has to bring us up to be a bitch. And Adriana, she picks up on the shade. And she's like, oh, like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to throw a low blow for? Like, what's your problem? And Adriana says, well, you know, Alexia, you were still married to Herman when you started dating Todd. And Alexia, she's like, I know, and I own that. But you don't own that because you're a fucking liar. She gets all mad. And it's like, Alexia is a pathetic, weak bitch. She tries to be all fucking strong. Bro, I pulled that bitch's hair. Blah, blah. It's like, you're a scrappy bitch who fights other weak bitches over fucking drug-dealing men. And it's like, girl, like, you're pathetic. I don't know. It was funny at first, but this will have the sour taste in my mouth. I'm gonna talk mad shit about Alexia. I don't give a flying fuck. And yeah, she's all defensive. And it's like, oh, I admit it. I know. And it's like, well, girl, I'd never heard that you were still married to Herman while dating Todd. She's like, I admit it and I own it. Did you admit it? Did you own it? Or are you just saying it now because you're fucking caught up? It was just really weird. Alexia's pathetic. And it's also like, oh, we're talking about what's going on in documentaries, what's going on, and there's this Netflix documentary about this. Well, girl, there are these articles out there about your fucking piece of shit son. And we go back to nationalities. Well, girl, you know, like all Latino fucking cultures, like the fucking machista, that kind of, the patriarchal kind of mindset. So it's like, well, girl, you can say that your son is living up to the fucking reputation, that stereotype that he has, with this fucking article saying that he was fucking kicking his girlfriend, allegedly. And yes, the charges were dropped, But bitch, there's still headlines out there saying that your son is doing that shit. Is he living up to the fucking reputation? Is he living up to the fucking stereotype? This episode really pissed me the fuck off. Alexia's a dumb bitch, and that's all I have to say. So I'm getting a bit badder on this one. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe anyways, what you thought. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get my fucking bong set up. I'm gonna go fucking chill out and relax and get ready for work tomorrow. Thank you again for watching. Bye.